Welcome to Aligned and Abundant, the podcast where authenticity meets practicality, compassion, alignment, and abundance. I'm your host, Christine Marcario, and I help you slow down, become more mindful, improve your mental and emotional health, and live life on your highest timeline. Together, we'll talk strategy, life lessons, and share inspiring stories of people who have overcome obstacles, grown through their pain, and risen above adversity. If you are looking for divine inspiration rooted in love and light, paired with practical tools and encouragement, you're in the right place at the right time. From one heart to another, you are an amazing and divine soul with a purpose. Take my hand and let's walk this path together. Welcome back to Aligned and Abundant. I'm Christine, and today we're talking about something really special. September 2025 as a season of change. The skies are buzzing with energy right now with eclipses, moon cycles, and the equinox. And it feels like a turning point for so many of us. To explore this with me, I'm so excited to have Shabana Knight back here on the podcast. If you have been following along or want to go back and listen, Shabana shared her powerful story from orphanage to empowerment on episode 12. She brings such a beautiful perspective on moving through transition with grace, ease, and compassion. Shabana, welcome. I'm so excited that you are back here on the podcast.
Hello, I'm happy to be here. It's a great day. The kids are at school. We are
Yeah,
good.
it has been refreshing to have the kids back in their routine and we get our space to be creative again.
Yes.
So I think that you and I can both relate to having a change of schedule and daily routine compared to when we were in the spring. Going into summer, we had a routine set and we had our daily practices in place. And then summer came and that all changed because we both have three children and they all have different needs, schedules, sports, activities, etc. And now we are reclaiming our schedule and sanity. Not the kid.
Yes.
So I think this is just such a powerful time. So many people, so many women can relate to just finding themselves back into a routine or creating a new routine. And I'd love to explore what that looks like for you and for me and share any tips, tricks that we have for any stay at home moms or entrepreneurs who are at home and building their schedule around their children's lives.
Yes. I mean, and when we think of September, we think of, at least I do, is like back to school energy and more structure, more emails, more forms to fill out, more this, that, and adding things to our schedule. And then kind of like also we're ramping up the year, but we're also winding down the year. So it's this yin and yang, this push and pull of just this transition into this next season. And then all of a sudden it's like December and Christmas and the start of a new year. So there's just so much going on. So what I've been thinking about is just how much even more so it is to protect our energy and our schedule and just the power of saying no
Mm.
to time and commitment and school events. Yes, of course, you want to say yes to lots of things, but at the same time, we need to really look at our schedule and what can I actually hold on my plate? Or is my plate literally like overflowing with spaghetti and like things are falling on the floor and you don't even have space to put your dinner roll? Like, you just, yeah, you have to figure it out and just how powerful our no is to make our yes stronger and having those boundaries.
So many golden nuggets right there. And I want to hit upon, first of all, September to me, because I was a teacher for so long, totally feels like a fresh start, a new beginning. But then, yeah, there's only 3 months left to the year. And you have to think back. I've been seeing a lot of posts with, are you going to achieve the goals that you set forth for 2025? And to think about it, like we are three-fourths way through the year But simultaneously, like you said, it's also a fresh start. It's fall, it's a new season very soon. And there's so much to tie into that because it's a season of getting quieter and reflecting and seeing the beauty that surrounds us, as well as, again, darker days for most of
Mhm.
us, earlier night, and also leading up to that excitement of the end of the year, holidays, New Year, etc. So it's a wonky time. I think that with that, there is so much opportunity for anyone to really design a new schedule for themselves, some morning practices or nighttime practices that they love. I know that you actually just went to the beach the other day because that was a calling that was placed on your heart and you had the time to do so. You dropped the kids off at school and then you had the time to do a little solo, getting quiet with yourself and listening to the divine whispers that came through from source for you. And so again, there's just so much opportunity for us to really get quiet and go within and also, like you said, protect our energy and decide what's best for us. And I love all of that.
Yeah, I am really blessed that I get to work part time, and that's just how we've made our schedules work. And I know I have mom friends that, they have to drop their kid off at daycare and then they go to school and then they come home, but the mom is just gone all day long. And you don't have those times to be quiet and be still and stuff like that. So it's like, what do you do if you work full time? And how do you manage your schedule and stuff? And just different tips and tricks is like, okay, can you put your phone down during lunch and take a walk, like take a 10-minute walk during your lunch break? Can you make sure you're hydrating all day long with water as opposed to coffee all day long and energy drinks? Can you wake up 10 minutes early so you can have a quiet shower before a child needs you? Just all those little things that make life just a little bit less stressful, whether you work full time or part time or no time. Yeah, just you got to look at your schedule and figure it out. And it's so important.
It is so important to figure out a schedule and a daily routine because that really sets you up for success. I was just talking to a friend yesterday and come to the realization that when you're in a job, particularly, for example, teaching that does burn you out or it takes up so much of your energy, it is super important to protect your energy. So you have to come up with a way to call back your energy. And that might look different for everybody. It might look like sitting outside on your deck with a glass of wine at the end of the night. It might look like having a coffee as the sun rises, again, getting up 15 minutes before your kids get up or before you have to go and walk the dog. Just finding that time and making that balance because you have to make that commitment to yourself, or else you're just going to be so exhausted because you don't give yourself any time. And it's like that expression where if the plane's going down, you have to put your oxygen mask on first. And that's what is so important to remember as moms or caregivers. We have to take care of ourselves first so that we can be the best version of ourselves for our kids or for the people that we love and care for.
And with that, like, what are our oxygen masks? Like, are they listening to inspiring podcast or music on the way to and from work? Are they making sure on the weekend you meal prep and you have your freezer meals that you're just going to throw in the crock pot a few nights each week? Are they knowing that Wednesday night is pizza night? So I'm not going to worry about that dinner. Is it maybe having your significant other or partner help fill out forms for kids? It's almost a point where we have to learn to get quiet, even just for 5 minutes and tune in. It's like, what can I delegate? How can I receive support? How can I ask for help? Maybe it's coordinating carpools with the neighbor. There's so many tips and tricks that I think sometimes as moms, we just assume we have to do everything. We have to do all the laundry. We have to do this. I know when my kids they were all in elementary school and we ended up getting them all like laundry baskets from Walmart, the ones with like the wheels on it and they can pull it to the laundry room. So they started doing their own laundry in elementary school,
With that.
and that just took, like, a huge load off of our shoulders.
Pun intended.
Yeah. So, it's little things like that, figuring out, like, how you can get support from those around you and asking for that help and support because Otherwise, we're burnt out on both ends, and we're just these humans that are like zombies. I don't know. Just what?
That totally makes sense. And I know that my husband and I have come to an understanding that we have to get a little bit more organized. And so, certain things that you just mentioned, we have to do. Like on Sunday, we do meal planning for the week. So, we talk about, what are we going to eat each day based off of the schedule? Like, are we going to have time to cook
Yeah.
or does it need to be a super quick meal that night? Which pizza shop has a special? So, Monday nights might be
Yes.
pizza because it's a
Uh-huh.
$12 pie. And
Yes.
the most recent thing that we have actually started to talk about is getting an electronic calendar that can go into the kitchen and like
Fancy.
symbol so we can all be on the same page and you can color coordinate each kid, which I think is super awesome. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of excited to get one of those. But like you just really do have to plan because if not, you are just super, super tired. And real quick, another thing that I learned along the way is just being honest with your partner and just doing like an energy check in. I heard someone say, like, when you get home, just say, hey, listen, like, I am at 50% capacity right now. I only have 50% of
Yes.
energy to give because I'm just fried. Or I have 90%. You're looking a little low. Let me step up. So just having that check in with your spouse or your significant other so that you know how to tackle the rest of the evening. And my husband also additionally always says many hands make the work lighter. So I love that you taught
Yeah.
your children how to get their laundry going at a young age because it is. There's so much to do, especially laundry. It never ends. So that's awesome.
Yes. A lot of times as moms, wives, partners, whatever, we're already like, I'm already so exhausted. So just to have the brain energy to even take the time of like what I'm going to delegate, like we kind of just we don't delegate because we're so tired and we don't want to like manage the people doing the thing that we ask them to do because they're not going to do it right. So we think. Um, but really it comes down to if you're at a point where you're just constantly exhausted, you need to make sure you're getting your basics, which is like drinking water all day long, cutting out the sugary drinks, and then go back into more of a better balance if those are things that you still want to include in your life, or just say, instead of having 3 sodas a day, I'm gonna have 1 soda and then try to do more water because it really does make a difference of how your energy is, how you're feeling, your mood. Like literally, like you need to be drinking your water. And a lot of people aren't. A lot of us are dehydrated and we're walking around with brain fog and we're like, what's wrong with me? It's like literally just drink water and keep drinking water and it will get better. So it's like making sure we're drinking our water. And then the evening, oh man, I know if I get stuck on the couch watching TV, I'm done. Like the dishes don't get done. The house is a mess. The next morning, I'm like running around. It's chaotic, trying to get kids out the door kind of thing. But really making that point after dinner, spending like 10 to 15 minutes making sure everything's in place for the next day. Like, I don't even want to think about filling up the kids' water bottle. Not, I don't want them to have to fill up their water bottles in the morning. Like, they need to do everything the night before. And like, it's not perfect, but on the days it is, the mornings run so much smoother. I have 3 kids. So one will take a shower. Actually, two of them will take a shower like every night. Um, and that helps with the morning. Like the bathroom isn't like,
Yeah.
so just little things like that. Like what can we possibly do in the span of 15 minutes right after dinner that will set us up for success to have that smooth morning and that transition? I know some people on Sundays, they'll have their children pick out their 5 outfits for the week ahead, all the way down to underwear, socks, and everything, and then just have them, like, hanging up in their closet or in their drawers or in a bin or whatever. One of my kids does that, and it's great for her. She loves it. But there's so much power in taking the time to plan and think things through and make it happen.
Yeah, because when you're in that state of overwhelm, then you get stressed out. I remember so many mornings leaving super stressed out, and then you forget things. But then that just adds on top of you already feeling stressed out. For instance, if you forgot your lunch. I love the idea of picking out the clothes. I actually recently thought that I might do that for my 5-year-old because it's just such a great idea. And even though I could easily pull out her outfits, like it's just so much easier. And on mornings when she's feeling ambitious, she can get herself dressed And I think it's also super important to clean up after yourself or clean up as you go. I was recently over at my cousin's house for dinner and they make everything homemade from scratch, which is was
Mm.
so beautiful to witness. And it was just really great in watching their routine. Like one person washed and then one dried and put it away. And before we even sat down to eat, like basically everything was already put away and cleaned up. And I was like, this is
Oh my gosh, that's
amazing.
amazing.
I was like, this
Yeah.
is inspiring. And I remember when I first moved into the current house that I'm living in, and my husband and I were like, we're going to clean the kitchen every single night, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that lasted for like a month. And now, like, yeah, who wants to wake up to dirty dishes? I was feeling lazy last night and I left two pots in the sink because I was like, all right, I'm just going to let them soak. Everything else was good. Everything else was in the dishwasher, but the two pots, is like, I really don't feel like getting my hands wet right now. And it was just so silly.
Yeah.
And then, you have to do it. It's still waiting there for you. The magical fairy doesn't come and do your dishes at night. So you might as well
Gosh, I know,
just
right?
do it with the peace of mind of waking up. It's so nice to walk down to a clean kitchen. So
It's the
take
best
those,
feeling.
yeah, yeah, take those 15 minutes and just tidy up because you'll just feel so much better in the
Yeah.
morning. That starts your day off on the right foot. So that's one way that you can definitely navigate
Mhm.
routines. I think routines are super important
Yeah.
because it turns into a habit and then it's more likely to get done.
Yeah. Absolutely. One other thing, if you do work full time, even if you work part time, one thing that I do is I clean houses and I organize. And so just I know for those clients that I do clean for, it's amazing. Like they're just like so thankful because they've been working, 40, 50-hour weeks and just to be able to hire someone on to clean like your bathrooms and kitchens and stuff is huge. So if you can afford that, like get the help you need and get someone to just clean, even if it's just once a month, it just takes so much off of your plate. It's such a blessing all around.
Honestly, I can also agree with that because when I was over at my cousin's having dinner the other day, she also has three children. And I was like, how do you keep up? Because my cousin, her husband is also coaching four of the kids' sports.
Oh
And
my
I'm like, how, and they both work full time. And I'm like, how in the world do you guys manage? And one of the things is she said she finally hired a house cleaner and she comes twice a month.
God. Yeah.
But she said she's like, "I couldn't keep up, like, I could not handle it," and so it's alleviated so much extra stress and pressure because, yeah, everyone needs well, I prefer a clean home. I
Yeah,
know everyone
for
needs
sure.
what I need because a clean home helps my brain think better.
Mm. Yeah. There's so much like science and evidence behind that is like a messy house is like a reflection of the inside. Like the way our brains are like messy and just over functioning and overwhelmed and overstimulated. And when we can walk into a room, it's all like when we go to an Airbnb, like it's all clean
I love
and they're like, just so simple. And our
yeah,
brains like, oh, I can actually put energy towards a project that I want to be putting towards as opposed
yes, that's
to
exactly
the
how I
place
think, and I know
later.
you and I were both on a mission this summer
Yeah.
to declutter our homes and drop off as much as we could to Goodwill
Yeah.
or our local donation center. And it just feels good to let that go because I keep thinking, as much as I want to hold on to this stuff for whatever weird reason, I'm
Yeah.
like, by letting this go, I'm allowing space for new, for creative ideas, etc. And you just get so much more clarity when you are looking around a satisfying room that's clean and tidy instead of I know I'll sit on the couch and I never take rest because I just look around and I'm like, okay, that needs to be put away. Why is that out? Why is that fruit wrapper still there?
Oh
You know
my
what I
gosh.
mean? Like that fruit snack wrapper is still sitting there. Like I was literally picking on my husband the other day. I was like, when you leave your fruit snack wrappers around, can you at least leave it in one piece instead of ripping off the top so there's two pieces to pick up? And he's just like, you fuss over the silliest things, but I will pick up my wrappers. I was like, you better.
It's 'cause I don't want ants or whatever,
Yeah, 'cause
you know?
I'm sick
Like,
of
there's
picking
a
them up.
reason. Yeah, because it's trash and trash belongs in the trash can.
Yeah, like, take the extra second and walk it to the
Yeah.
trash can.
Mhm. I know, forever ago when I started this whole, like, decluttering and organizing journey, one of the best advice that I had received was to start with the bedroom. And granted, our bedroom, the closet is, like, off to the bathroom, so you don't really see the closet. So it was more just focusing on having the bed where I wanted it, making sure our nightstands were, like, decluttered and stuff like that, because they just get so, like, you just the junk drawer almost, and then making sure, like, underneath the bed, everything was cleaned out, and then after that, the tops of the dressers being very simple. Yeah, so just because that's, like, where you sleep, so if you have all this, like, clutter and disorganization and just chaos in your bedroom, it's gonna be harder to get a good night's sleep and rest, and your mind, like, subconsciously is just gonna be, like, doing turns and flips in your head. So if you feel like your house is decluttered and you want a place to start in the bedroom. Keep it simple, get rid of stuff you don't need. I always think, like, if I do get rid of something and if for some reason I need it, it's gonna always come back to me. And so I'm like, yeah. So just trying to keep that in mind. If you really need something, it will come back to you or you'll be able to borrow it or buy it again. And then eventually going through your closet and different things like that.
Yeah, I think also energetically, from like a feng shui perspective, they say that the bedroom is one of the most important spaces to
Yeah.
have decluttered because then the energy can flow more freely. And I know that they also say that you're not supposed to have anything under your bed
Hmm.
and, your bed should be positioned in a certain way. I also know that from my perspective, I love to have visually things that I enjoy looking at. So I like to put like pretty art on the walls or little
Yeah.
tchotchkes that mean something to me,
Yeah.
on my dresser. But then again, not too much. So sometimes I'll like rotate them out. And if I'm going to get rid of something and I still feel like a tug of attachment, like I'll just take a picture and I'll just think that, it's going to bless somebody else. There's so many ways that we can make our spaces beautiful. And I hear you on the Airbnbs. It's
Yes.
funny because I
Yes.
used to, and I still do, but not at, like I'm starting to understand it more. But I was always trying to like escape and go on another trip and another vacation. And it's because I
Mhm.
just love staying in an Airbnb because it's just so
Yeah.
sparse, but it's usually decorated very nicely. I'm all about aesthetics when I'm choosing an Airbnb. Like if I don't like someone's decor, I'm like, click next.
Yeah. It's it's so true. And they say that's true too for like if you're trying to sell stuff on like Facebook Market or OfferUp or whatever, like if your thing doesn't have like the good background or setup
Yeah.
or whatever, then people will just scroll right by because it's not like
Oh
good
yeah.
enough eye catching or appealing or like
Yeah.
you're trying to sell a dress and then you have like all this crap in the background and
Uh-huh.
you're like, oh, well, she's messy. It probably smells or dirty or
Oh
something
my
like
gosh. That's so funny. Yeah, I'd have the same thought if someone's selling something, but it's like in their garage and the garage is like a hot mess in the background. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Like energetically, it doesn't feel like a match.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed. So there's a lot of yeah, our brains can create lots of stories.
Now, going back to transitions, this is also a huge transition for the kids themselves. Some of them are, my son is going into his senior year, and that's super exciting for him. My daughter just entered kindergarten. So, I felt so sad. Like, which was
Aw.
to be expected, but on her paper, she had a little paper that the teacher said, how were you feeling on your first day? And there was like 4 boxes that she could have colored in. It was like excited, happy, sad, or scared. And she put scared. And I was like, oh, I felt
Aw.
so bad for her. But on the other hand, like, of course, like I naturally expected her to feel a little scared. Like she's never been on a school bus before. Like mommy
Yeah.
and daddy are not there to turn to if she needs, love and attention or reassurance. So all of our kids are also in a space where, they're meeting new teachers, new schedules, new
For sure.
routines. They might have classrooms that don't have any of their friends in them, or they might be
Mhm.
back with the same kids, and that could also be
Yeah.
good or bad. So it is definitely a time of transition for almost
Mhm.
everybody besides someone that doesn't necessarily have their routine affected.
Yeah. I just want to go back to circle back to what you just said. I love that she felt comfortable enough to put scared on her paper, that she felt open and vulnerable enough to show her like her
Yeah.
deep dark secret that she's scared to
Yeah.
go into kindergarten because she will have the biggest amount of growth
Ah,
because she's in this category of scared.
mhm.
You know what I mean?
I received
And
that.
then give it, like, a couple days, and she's like, "I love it, I'm
Yeah.
happy, I'm excited, like, life is good." Like, because she's in the darkest.
I
So,
love that. Oh my god,
yeah.
that makes me feel so good to hear that because you're absolutely right, and I can't wait for that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna happen, like, any day. And then she's gonna be like, I don't want to leave school. I want to stay with my
Yeah.
friends. Follow spiritual butterfly going on. And also maybe like you don't have any kids going back to school. However, you know school is in session because you get stuck behind the buses on the way to work and you have to like transition into that.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's also, I feel like there's more moms in the Starbucks line.
Oh, yeah.
Those line and the teachers, those lines are longer that you have to transition into. And then maybe you're just, it's what the how do they do in like business terms, like the fourth quarter, so your
Yeah.
final push of the year and making sure all your numbers are good and all like the stress and anxiety and working longer hours and just how important still, regardless if you have kids in school or not, or if your kids are grown and out of the house, just how important it is to protect your energy, control your schedule, get your sleep, stay hydrated. Like we are all in a transition regardless of if you have kids or not. Now I have two in high school, so a ninth and 11th grader, and I was kind of nervous for the ninth grader, but he's doing great and he joined the tennis team, just completely brand new kind of thing. I'm like, good for you. And then I kind of felt bad for the seventh grader because she's alone at the middle school. But at the same time, thankfully, she has friends in all of her classes. There was one class that was just kind of like too hard. It was a higher math class and she was able to switch. And so that like just brought down her anxiety. She feels like she can thrive and learn what she needs to learn. So again, it's just like we're building these like amazing, resilient kids. And it's so beautiful to watch them grow and learn and develop. And at the same time, like, I mean, you're a kindergartner, that's like different, but like with my preteen and teenagers, how to still show them love in a way they need to receive love, but not like be this big, like mama bear, like, oh, blah, 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 I know I've been already at the middle school a couple times this year, just talking to the staff and figuring out volunteer stuff and different things like that. And the seventh grader, she's just like, "Don't come to lunch. You're gonna embarrass me. You're so cringe. Don't blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "All right, fine." So I didn't go to lunch, but I went to a different lunch and I ended up talking to one of her friends like for a little bit. And like all of her friends are like, "Oh, Rafadi." So it's so funny. It's just like, all right, what are the boundaries? Yeah, each kid is so different.
Yeah, that's one thing that we have to recognize and honor and see what their needs are at their given age and in their certain circumstances. And I love
Mhm.
that. I want to commend you as a parent from a former teacher's perspective to allow your daughter to step down when she felt that overwhelming anxiety. Because I used to teach honors classes and you could see the tension and the fear and the anxiety in some of these students who felt like it was just too much for them. Like they recognize that in themselves. And while one part of you wants to challenge them,
Yeah.
to recognize where is that fine line of is this going to be challenging or is this
Mhm.
going to be complete overwhelm? And then that might lead into shutdown. So I want to say that I love that you allowed her, first of all, that growth where she could the sense that she could sense that for herself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That you were open to that because some parents push and push and push,
Yeah.
and you have to meet your kids where they're at.
And the other thing is, it was kinda like a little, like, fear that came up in me, like, "Crap, I gotta message someone. Are they even allowed to change classes?"
Mhm.
And, like, all the things, and, oh my gosh, the lady was so nice. She's like, "Oh, yeah, absolutely, no problem. We can arrange that. We don't need them to have, like, anxiety attacks over,
Yeah.
like, a class. It's really not a big deal." Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
like, "Okay, well, thank you." And then I was afraid that if she went into that class, she's gonna be like, "Well, I don't know any friends." I'm like, "We're not changing back, like,
Yeah.
you're stuck."
Yeah.
But she was fine. She has friends in that class and a different lunch period, but it's a lot better, so.
Yeah. It's for the best. And it's also
Mm.
great that you caught it early in the year compared to like after they failed. After someone failed, like
Yeah,
period, and
that's
like their
a good
ego is now like
perspective.
hurt and bruised and
Uh-huh. Yeah.
so many blessings to making things happen sooner than later, and
Yeah.
recognizing how potentially the year could go.
Yeah. No, it's true. Just with anything. We shouldn't have to get to burnout
Mm.
to receive the help that we need, but so many of us do go to burnout and then we get sick and we wonder why, like, we're sick or this or that happens. It's like, well, because we went to burnout because we didn't know how to ask for help. If
Mm.
we were to ask for help and support, we wouldn't be burnt out. So it's just like this vicious cycle.
It totally reminds me of like a candle burning and it's like
Mm-hmm.
joyful and happy. And then all of a sudden it's getting down to the end where it just kind of sizzles and fades and no
Mm-hmm.
amount of spark is going to relight it because it's just tapped out. The energy is
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. It's so true. So true.
And then also shifting into just different expectations of how the morning is going to go. So this was the first year actually that I was able to put one of my children on the bus for like kindergarten. Like I wasn't granted those opportunities when Michael and Ryan were younger because I was a teacher. So I was
Mm-hmm.
already in the classroom welcoming other children to their first day of school. So this was also a bit weird for me. I was like, I had to do like a little bit of a nervous system check in and was like, am I going to be okay watching my little one getting on the bus and feeling those big feelings? And, because in the past, it's always been like a family member who's done it. And then I get the
Oh,
picture. And so this was also a change for me. And also the way that they do things here in my school district is there are 4 rounds of bus transportation.
yeah.
So school days are very, very staggered. And so my oldest leaves the house by 6:45, my middle leaves the house by 7:30, and then my littlest doesn't get on the bus till 9. So also discovering how the mornings are going to look and how they're going to roll because just because her bus doesn't come till 9, I mean, she's still up at like 6:45. So we're now having longer mornings, which stalls the start to my day, which is fine. But I just, again, it goes back to like looking at what's on your plate. How can you rearrange your day so that you're the most successful? But again, part of why I'm transitioning to life coaching and being an entrepreneur is so that I can spend more time with my family, with my children, and be there for them. So it's working out, figuring out what works best for your family. So that's super important to recognize and reflect on and pull from.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely remember that season where I had the kids were in 5th, 7th, and ninth grade. So 3 different schools, 3 different time schedules, and thankfully, David was able to help get 1 or 2 kids to school kind of thing, and I definitely had to help with Jasmine because it was elementary, so it was like 9:30 type like, just a late schedule.
Yeah.
So, I remember, like, during that time, it's like, "What can I do in this weird on and off mom role, not mom role time until 9:30?" And, I mean, sometimes I'd be super productive and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna, like, maybe clean 1 bathroom or at least throw the laundry in and pick up a little bit." But it was a lot of, like, housework and getting the kids out the door and or, like, trying to sneak in a quick walk or something.
Mhm.
So wait, so how did you do with her getting on the bus and handling
Yeah. So
how'd it go?
So it was pretty good. There were other parents out there, so that was good. And then my neighbor, thankfully, her daughter is in 4th grade and she is also very active with the PTO at the school. So she just let me know that because I was like, oh, dang. I was like, how is she going to find her way back to the school bus? And so she informed me that like there are like student helpers and her daughter ended up being one of them. And so helping her, they actually go to the classroom at the end of the day and they pick
Mhm.
them up. And the teachers are so cute. They gave them these little Mickey Mouse ears with like their
Oh,
bus number.
yeah.
So they get deposited to the right bus and all of that. So I did have a pinch of yucky feeling because as the bus was pulling away, she kind of like reached to open the window and obviously,
No.
she wasn't able to open the window. So I did feel a little ping of sadness, but luckily, she came home happy and
Yep.
excited. And then the teacher was really great. She actually uploaded some pictures through like our way of communicating. There's an app that the school district uses. And a lot of the pictures, she looked okay, but there was one where she looked off. And I was like, what happened here? Like, what was going on? And she's like, I just missed you. So I was like,
Oh.
oh, like, even though she said
Yeah.
she was excited and had a great day, once she settled down and was like a little bit more open, she was like, I missed
Mhm.
you. You know what I mean? So, like anything else, it's going to take time when she transitioned to
Yeah.
preschool.
Yep.
That was really funny because she came home the first day. She went so easily and she was like, I had such an amazing day. etc. She was so excited. And then I was like, okay, good. We're going to go tomorrow. For whatever reason, this child thought she only had to go to preschool for one day. It was the struggle bus for about a month.
That
I
is
literally,
really funny.
my husband and I had to switch who was dropping her off because I couldn't handle it emotionally because she was so upset every morning, crying, begging not to go. I said, I can't handle it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
full now, upset. I'm like, so we had to swap off, but then it got so much easier. But yeah,
I don't remember if it was preschool or kindergarten. I think it was kindergarten. She went to kindergarten for the first day. And then that night when I was tucking her into bed, she goes, okay, I'm ready for first grade. I was like, no, like you
not
have a
how it
whole
works.
year of this. She's like, what? Like she was so confused. The same like reaction, but she didn't like cry about it, throw a fit for
Oh,
the
good.
rest of the days. She was good, but she was just like, "What do you mean? I thought I was done." Like it was so funny.
Yeah, it really is because you don't think about like the details that you have to share. You know what I mean? But if you come from their perspective, like they kind of do need to be filled in a little bit more.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, they do. Just to feel that sense of like safety, security, structure, sense of well-being. Like, no,
Yeah.
this is a long-term project. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I know. And my middle schooler was complaining the other day. Not complaining, but he was just like, it's school. And I was like, listen, buddy, I'm like, you should just enjoy school because when you get to having to work every day, like that's
Yep.
not necessarily fun either. And
Yeah.
again, that's where I'm at, trying to find where's my fun again in making
Mhm.
money. But I just said, you know what, just enjoy school. Like all you gotta do is do the work. Like it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah,
go with it. It's
exactly.
about the attitude that you bring to your day, like
Yes.
anything else.
Yes. No, I agree. It's like we always long for the future, this or that and the other thing, but just learning to enjoy what's in front of us because that's where the magic is, where we can be present.
100%.
Yeah.
So with the kids back to school and our days growing shorter, nature invites us inward. October is actually my favorite time of year because I love the beauty of fall. I love seeing all of the colors in the trees. Everyone kind of gets together because it's football season and so many people jam out over that, the whole vibe. It's funny. I just have to say it because, Taylor Swift and I'm so not into that, but whoever she's marrying or whatever, like people are going to gather around all of that
Oh,
at the
yes.
time of unity also. And it's just a season of coziness. What are some of your favorite things that you love to do? I just want to hear it before we come to a close on this conversation.
I definitely like my pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. And I just, I love that the kids go to bed early because they're just not staying up all night playing video games because it's not summer. I love that, like, there's more structure. There's more like we'll eat dinner at like 6 and then if kids have sports or whatever, but then by like 8, 8:30, we'll watch a show as a family, have our like evening snacks or whatever. And then one thing that I love is even though my kids are 12, 14, and 16, they still want to pile on our bed and pet the cat and I'll like read whatever book I'm reading, I'll just like start reading. Usually by that point, they're like snoring, and I'm like, okay, guys, you got to go to your room now. But they still like want that closeness and time together. And I don't know, obviously the older they get, those time are far and few between. So just taking it in that our kids still want to spend time with me. I don't know. It might just be like, well, we don't want to go to bed, so we're gonna hang out with you and like pet the cat and like listen to all your weird stories that you tell us or whatever. But it's just there's more connection in fall, I feel like, and I really like that.
I
And
can so relate to that, and I actually love that. For us, for the moms, it's okay if they're using it as a stall to go to bed because those are the most precious moments. I actually call my middle child the 9 p.m. snacker because no matter what he's doing upstairs, after my youngest goes to bed and the coast is clear, he
Mhm.
always comes down and
Oh,
wants to
yeah.
have a snack, and that's usually me and him time to like watch something. We've recently been watching this YouTuber, Ryan Trahan. He was on a mission to raise money for St. Jude by
Nice.
staying and finding the coolest Airbnb by doing 50 states in 50 days. So shout out to Ryan Trahan. It's just such a unique way to bond. So my child and I watch that, and we usually go through a few episodes. And so yeah, it's so lovely when they still want that good night hug or that good night kiss. And I
Yeah.
try to make it a point because I was slacking for a little while on tucking him in because I was so
Mhm.
burnt out and tired. I was like, "You come tuck me in," because he was going to bed
Mhm.
after me. Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, I love that we're back into like more of a routine and he's not up till, midnight
Yeah.
chatting with his friends. So there is a
Mhm.
coziness about fall that is beautiful. And so I just encourage everyone to find their vibe for fall and just enjoy it. I love getting some twinkly lights or a nice candle
Yes,
and just
for sure.
with some set family time. Maybe it's that Monday night that you order the pizza, maybe that's a
Mhm.
designated movie night.
Yeah. No, I love it. One other tip that I wanna leave the audience is that it's called my 10 PM list because I kid you not, it's usually not 10 PM, it's anywhere between, like, 9 and 10 PM. That is when the kids just decide that they need X, Y, and Z, and it's so urgent right now to look on Amazon to get this for this or, "Oh, mom, I need a haircut." So, the 10 PM list is date, name, and the kid's, like, request or whatever, because I'll forget in the morning, and so will they. All the things come up at 10 PM,
Oh,
so
yeah.
start making your 10 PM list because
I love that idea, actually. That's
yeah,
so awesome. And it's so funny to take a peek into other families' homes. Like my kid's
yeah,
sitting down and having a snack. Your kids are coming up with all the things that they need that are like, hey, I forgot about this. It's so funny. So those are
and
some great ways that you can stay organized and
yeah,
enjoy quality time with your family. So that's awesome.
yeah, good stuff.
Share with everyone where we can follow you, find you, support you.
Yeah, so I am on Instagram. It's just Shabana.Knight, Knight. Follow me there. I am producing a podcast, and once it's out, we will put it in the show notes, but that's going to be dropping this month.
Absolutely. And I cannot wait to listen.
If today's episode inspired you, make sure to hit follow so you never miss a moment of alignment and abundance. Share this episode with a friend who's ready to rise with you, and don't forget to leave a quick review. It helps this community grow and reach more beautiful souls. And if you're ready to go deeper, join me inside Aligned and Abundant, the Soul Shine Collective, my private sanctuary where we create, heal, and manifest together. You'll find the link in the show notes.